Good evening, everyone, from Tigers Stadium in Detroit, Michigan. Welcome to Phillies baseball. Tonight, the Phils and the Detroit Tigers as we resume interleague play. Harry Callis along with Rich Asburn and Chris Wheeler. Pleasant night here in Detroit. And the Phillies winning a game on Wednesday, a marathon game to complete a sweep of the San Diego Padres. They did it on Kevin Stocker's 2-out 12th inning single. It gave the Phillies a 4-game sweep over San Diego. So the Phillies on a bit of a roll coming in here to Detroit. One of the guys for the Tigers that's been a big difference in their record being so much improved over last year is a Philadelphia area product, Whitey, Bobby Higginson.
Well, Bobby he's right out of Philadelphia, went to Temple University, wanted to play with the Phillies. He was always a Phillies fan. Phillies wanted to make a second baseman out of him. He didn't think he could play second, so he's here with Detroit. Here's what he's done here in the last 22 games. Hit just under 400, a couple of grand slams he's hit this year. Leads the major leagues in outfield assists. This guy is a complete ball player. Too bad the Phils didn't get him somehow.
He's excited to play against the Phillies tonight, and Willie Blair will get the start for Detroit. It's a remarkable feat that he has accomplished after being hit by a line drive in early May.
Unbelievable, Harry, what he has accomplished. Julio Franco hit him right in the face with a line drive, and he only missed a month. Now, you see that he has a career high in wins. He wins a lot for this ball club, and he pitches a lot of innings for the Detroit Tigers. So he's just the kind of guy that they want out there on the mound for them. He's a sinker slider type of guy. He does have a changeup, and he will throw a curveball also. Now, he came over here in a trade, and Randy Smith's made a lot of good trades since he's been general manager. Probably none better than bringing Brian Hunter over to put at the top of the lineup. He has great speed. He leads the major leagues in steals with 62 stolen bases. There you see him getting a great jump and stealing a base. They haven't had a guy around here steal bases like that since Ron LaFleur and Ty Cobb.
So for the Phillies tonight in interleague play, Tyler Green goes for the Phils. He will be opposed by Willie Blair for Detroit. Starting lineups for you right after these messages.
Phillies baseball is being brought to you in part by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. By Mellon PSFS, it's where you're going. By your local Chevrolet Geo dealers. And by Independence Blue Cross and Pennsylvania Blue Shield, the health insurance companies you can lean on.
Detroit, Buddy Bell and Terry Francona, close friends, exchanging the lineup cards. Terry, of course, was a coach for Buddy Bell last year, and now managing the Phils. Tigers have taken the field for the first of this weekend's series. Terry Francona's starting lineup for the Phillies tonight will have Midre Cummings leading off in center field. Mickey Morandini's second base bats second. Scott Rowland, third baseman, hitting third. Rico Brogna at first base bats fourth. Kevin Jordan will be the DH. He'll hit fifth. Mike Lieberthal catching, batting sixth. Billy McMillan, left field, hits seventh. Tony Barron, the right fielder, batting eighth. Kevin Stocker will play shortstop and hit ninth. Facing the 31-year-old right-hander Willie Blair.
Yeah, he's been with a lot of clubs. I believe this is his sixth major league club. Gets the ball over the plate. We saw him pitch at Colorado quite a bit, and he had a tough park to pitch in. This park's not that easy either.
He's put up good numbers, 13-6 with a 4.14 ERA. He's pitched 2 complete games. Hit by that line drive off the bat of Julio Franco in early May. Missed a month of the season. Still has won 13 games. Defensively behind Willie Blair, Travis Fryman is the third baseman. Davey Cruz at shortstop, Damian Easley at second, Tony Clark at first, Raul Casanova is the catcher, Bubba Trammell in left field, Brian Hunter in center, and Bobby Higginson in right. Phillies have not fared well in interleague play, having won just 1 game and lost 8. Won the first game the Phillies played in interleague play against Toronto and have lost the next 8, 2 to the Blue Jays, 2 to Boston, and 2 to Baltimore. Or rather, 3 to Boston and 3 to Baltimore. And after this series with Detroit back home against those New York Yankees at Veterans Stadium. Ray Cummings will lead it off. Cummings coming off a great series against San Diego. He went 11 for 16 in the San Diego Padres series, hitting at .275. Since joining the Phils, hitting at .357. First pitch of the game is over for a called strike. Al Clark calls the balls and strikes. The Trenton, New Jersey product. Eric Cooper at first base, Bill Miller at second, and John Hirschbeck at third. Popped him up in the infield near second base. Shortstop Cruz is there. Makes the play. Cummings is out on an infield pop-up. One down. That'll bring up Mickey Morandini. When Blair was in the National League pitching for Houston, Colorado, and San Diego, Morandini wore him out. Mickey, a .533 lifetime hitter against Willie Blair. One strike to Morandini. Talk about being on top of the action here at Tiger Stadium. We can almost reach out of our booth and touch the home plate umpire. That's how close we are to home plate.
Don't worry about a thing, Harry. You have a Hall of Fame center fielder with a glove here.
I'm not concerned at all with you got that glove. It's a right-hander's glove, though. Oh, that's fly ball center field, pretty well hit, but there's a lot of room out there, and it's caught by Brian Hunter, 2 down. This ballpark is homer friendly. It's 325 down the right field line, 340 down the left field line. Got a lot of room in center field, 440 feet to dead center. Power alleys are 365 to left center and 370 to right center. And probably the only park left where the flagpole supporting the American United States flag is in play. Forbes Field used to have the flagpole in play, but I think this is the only remaining park where the flagpole's in play. Good to have Scott Rowland back in the lineup after missing the San Diego series following shoulder injury after he was hit by a pitch ball. No balls and 2 strikes to Rowland, batting at .293. In the dirt.
The Nissan scouting report on Willie Blair: fastball, curve slider, best pitch slider, changeup, hard breaking slider. Gives up some home runs, gives up some hits.
Ground ball smothered to shortstop. Cruz makes the play just ahead of Rowland. Got him by a half a stride to retire the side. No runs, hits, errors, and none left after 1/2. Phil's nothing. Tigers coming to bat. First at Tiger Stadium, Buddy Bell's starting lineup for Detroit. Brian Hunter, center fielder, leads off. Damian Easley at second base, bats second. Bobby Higginson, right field, hitting third. Tony Clark, first base, bats fourth. Travis Bryman, third baseman, hitting fifth. Bob Hamlin will be the DH. He'll bat sixth. Bubba Trammell in left field hits seventh. Raul Casanova, the catcher, batting eighth and batting ninth. Shortstop Davey Cruz. They're facing Tyler Green.
Tyler pitched 3 good starts in a row, and then he kind of followed his last start. He just couldn't seem to get his rhythm and get into the flow of pitching, and he didn't pitch a real good game. But he has shown, I think, that his arm is all right.
Brian Hunter is batting at .263. Leads the majors in stolen bases with 62. Tied for 7th in the American League in runs scored with 91. Ground ball shortstop. Stocker will have to hurry, and does. He gets Brian Hunter 1 down. He'll bring up Damian Easley, the second baseman. Defensively behind Tyler Green, Scott Rowland at third, Kevin Stocker shortstop, Mickey Morandini second, Rico Bronya at first, Mike Lieberthal catching, Billy McMillan in left field, Meade Ray Cummings in center, and Tony Barron in right. Easily batting at .266. Birthday wishes tonight to Charles Buck Garrett from media, celebrating his 75th. Wishes from wife Dorothy and from us to Buck Garrett in media. 1 ball and no strikes to Easley. He's a 27-year-old. Came over from the California Angels. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, he's just lost one of the greatest baseball fans, Harry, a gentleman by the name of Bob Stewart, living out in Wynmoor. Never missed a game. Send our condolences along to Anna.
1-2 to Damian Easley. Bounces it up there, 2-2. Lucille Houston of Linwood, New Jersey, celebrating her 71st birthday. Wishes from sister Emma. From Jack and Isabel McKee, and also from us to Lucille Houston, celebrating in Linwood, New Jersey. Ground ball up the middle, Stocker fields, and he throws out Damian Easley. 2 outs on a couple of ground balls to Kevin Stocker. And here's the Temple University product, Bobby Higginson. Higginson hitting .300 right on the nose, 23 homers, 76 RBIs. Coming off a year in which he hit .320 with 26 home runs. Bobby, 27 years old. 1 strike to him.
Nice park for him, too, with that power to right field. Only .326 down the lines. A short, low fence there in right field.
Yes, you played here in all-star games, huh?
Have an overhang out there in right field, as you can see. An outfielder can be standing there waiting to catch a ball, and can hit that overhang. I played here in an all-star game in 1951. Great hitter's park.
Now balls and 2 strikes to Higginson with 2 outs and no base runners. Bounces it up there, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Goldie Wilson in Lewistown, PA, a belated birthday for Goldie. 93 just a few days ago.
Tigers have made great strides, and they're building around a pretty young ball club. Higginson and Easley are 27, Hunter's 26. Tony Clark on deck is 25. Lost 109 games last year. They shored up their pitching considerably. They had a terrible pitching staff last year, and it's much improved this year. Kevin Stocker is going to tie a major league record with 3 assists in the inning. No runs, hits, errors, and none left at the end of 1. It's a 0-0 game.
Being brought to you in part by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Brian Hunter with a leadoff double. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Lottery proceeds benefit older Pennsylvanians. And by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. This Bud's for you.
And Brian Hunter hit a first ball fastball, looked like, from Tyler Green. Hit it right down the third baseline. Here's what it looked like. Yeah, and that was a changeup. That was actually a first ball changeup. And you see he's out in his front foot a little bit, but he still hooked it down the line to third. And with his speed, he got a double easily.
Damian Easley is 0 for 1, grounded out. Looper right field, foul ball. Trying to go to the opposite field. Fouls it off. Strike 1 on Easley.
Easley with 19 home runs. That's a high number for a second baseman. When Brian Sandberg used to hit a lot of home runs as a second baseman, but most guys don't hit around 20 home runs, 15 to 20 home runs when they play second base. That's a lot. But right there you showed him giving himself up, which, you know, means he's a pretty good team player.
Hunter doubled the first hit and first base runner for Detroit. Squared around the bunt, but it was a ball. 1-1 the count to Easley. Hunter's 62 stolen bases, well ahead in the league. Just inside. 2-1 the count. They play easily to hit the ball to the opposite field. Outfield really shifted around. Gets away from Lieberthal, and Hunter goes to third on.
Well, that one nailed Al Clark, the home plate umpire. You could hear him yell. I mean, we talked about how close we are, and you could hear him yell as soon as that hit him. Right here, you see, it looks like he may have even gotten crossed up because Lieberthal reaches one way. The ball kicks off the heel of his glove and nails Clark.
It's a pass ball.
Well, now, yeah, now Lieberthal and Darla Green are out there talking because it was obviously a cross-up. I mean, he reached one way, the ball went the other way.
It was almost a strike.
Yeah, it was almost a strike. But if you're the umpire, you're getting out of the way. You don't know where it was.
3-1 the count on Easley. Hunter's on third, nobody out. Nolan and Bronya are fairly close on the infield, but middle infielders are back.
He called that a strike, too. Al did call it a strike. He's telling their dugout right now that it was a strike because it was right down the middle.
So the count is 2-2 then.
Yeah, they haven't corrected on the board, but he just went 2-2 to the dugout.
Yeah, I saw that pitch in the replay, and it looked like a pretty good pitch.
Yeah, now Al is down there. Al Clark from Trenton, New Jersey, is down there giving the count.
Close. Full count to Easley. There was a runner on second. I guess changed the signs of the runner on second.
Right. That's why they got crossed up.
Somebody missed it. Probably the pitcher. Walked him. First walk. Tyler Green. Puts runners on first and third. Nobody out. Bobby Higginson.
Heard from Dick Conley, who was Bobby Higginson's coach at Frankfort High School, talking about what an overachiever he was as a kid. You know, he's just a little guy and then got a lot bigger and is now a power hitter in the major leagues. He wrote an essay in English class when he was in grade school. He said he wanted to be a big league ball player. Well, he realized his dream.
Tyler Green, a quick move to first. A little wild, but infield would like a double play ball out of Higginson. Higginson wants more than that. In the dirt again. Tyler Green was throwing all strikes. He seems to have lost the strike zone a little bit. It's ball one to Higginson.
Well, the first base runner of the game against him was the leadoff double. And he's gotten a little tentative in this inning since there's been a base runner on.
Easley can run too. He's stolen 21. Score a run. Tony Barron makes the catch. Hunter tags and scores easily. Sacrifice fly for Higginson. Run batted in. The 77th, and the Tigers lead it 1-0.
The changeup, and Bobby Higginson hit it right off the end of the bat, but he's strong enough to hit it deep enough to the outfield to get the run in. Here you see right here, he's swinging fastball, and you can see the one-handed swing because it was a changeup. But he picks up that RBI, his 77th.
Tony Clark Another late throw to first. Clark grounded out his first time up, or flight out.
Tony Clark, we've seen him in spring training a few times, and he just looked like a star waiting to happen if he would stop striking out so much. Big power numbers, good RBI numbers. What an athlete he is. Big guy, 6'7".
Strike one on Clark. Tigers have taken a 1-0 lead here in the top of the bottom of the fourth. Fastball might have hurt Tyler Green, depending on what happens next. Inside with it, 1-1 to count. Easily on first, 1 out. Chop foul.
These left-handed hitters you're going to have to watch out for us up here. And they got the angle on you.
And you got the glove.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
I hope you don't bail out if one comes up here with, because you're supposed to protect me.
Well, I guarantee you're watching the field this series.
This is Protect Senior Citizens Week.
I'll try.
2-2 the count to Clark.
Really bouncing his curveball in this inning. You know, he had pretty good command of it before with his fastball and changeup, and now in this inning, it's like he's trying to make perfect pitches. And as a result, he's bounced quite a few. Lieberthal's really had to battle it back there.
He made a lot of good stops. Ironic, the one he didn't make was a strike.
Yeah, that was a pass. I mean, that was a cross-up.
Cross-up, yeah. Full count.
Mentioned that Easley can run, so you would think they would run here.
And we'll see. There he goes. Oh, strike out. Oh.
That where that bat went. Boy, that's one of the all-time great bat. You have to be strong to throw a bat that far. That thing's in right field.
Stolen base for Easley. That was a close play at second. Stocker made a good play on a ball in the dirt.
Watch the bat go. Here's Tony Clark, just fires the bat. Now Lieberthal throws a one-hopper. Easley had gotten a pretty good jump, and as Whitey said, Stocker made a play out of it on a short hop there. But another stolen base for him. His 22nd.
He's on second, 2 outs now. Travis Fryman. Fryman was robbed of a base hit by Scotty Rowland. Ball one on Fryman. Green has struck out 3 now with that Tony Clark strikeout. Tipped it way foul. Ball and a strike to Fryman. Used to play shortstop here, and they moved him to third.
The guy who used to play shortstop here for a long time was at the ballpark tonight, Alan Trammell. Saw him before the game, giving some instruction out there, wearing his familiar number 3. Talk about 2 guys who played a long time in the same place, Trammell and Whitaker, and unbelievable years here, year after year.
2-1 the count to Fryman. Yeah, they were both all-stars about every year, too.
They could hit and field.
Lou Whitaker. Little looper. Barron. Did he get it? Nope. Called him safe. Another run. Tigers lead it 2-0 on that Blute single by Travis Fryman.
Second base umpire Bill Miller had a real good angle on it, and he called it a trap right away. Here's a the bloopers. So the stolen base turns into another run. See if you can see it here. Yeah, obviously trapped it. Bounced well in front of him, in fact. But a good try by Tony Barron to try and deke the umpire.
Hamlin, the batter, the DH tonight. At a mile in the air, Scotty Rowland looks like he has room, and he does. That'll retire the side, but 2 runs on 2 hits and 1 man left on base. After 4 innings, Detroit leads the Phillies 2-0. Kevin Jordan leads it off. Jordan, Lieberthal, McMillan, first 3 batters against Willie Blair. Jordan grounded out his first time up. Been hitting the ball pretty well, Kevin Jordan. Strike 1.
Tigers have really improved their pitching. Their ERA is down almost 2 runs off of what it was last year when they had a 7 for most of the year and finished in the high 6s.
There's a base hit to center field by Kevin Jordan to lead off the 5th inning. They have the Unterbergers from Philadelphia, Glenn, Elise, Sam, and Andrew.
Breaking ball there for Kevin Jordan, a high curve ball, and you see him just lace it into center field.
Unterberger's on a tour, driving tour through the Midwest, stopped here in Detroit for this game. Mike Lieberthal grounded out his first time up.
It's kind of fun being here. I mean, I've never been to Detroit, obviously never been to this ballpark, so everything's new this weekend. It's really nice. One of the things about interleague play you have to like, and this whole ballpark, over 100 years old here in downtown Detroit, is, you walked into it tonight, I felt like I was back at Connie Mack Stadium.
Yeah, this is one of the the oldest park.
The upper deck just makes you think of Connie Mack, and the roof in left field, and the way the upper deck overhangs the lower stands.
Even the way we walked to the press box, it had a flight of stairs. Only the flight of stairs in the press box in Old Shibe Park, Connie Mack, was you had to walk upstairs.
And you went in that creaky old elevator too.
Yeah, it broke down a lot. Lieberthal hits it pretty well, or hits it not so well, and dumps in for a base hit. Looks like he hit it off the end of the bat.
Right, he did, White. He hit it right off the end of the bat, and there's a lot of room in center field here. Hunter was back fairly deep, and what it was great base running by Kevin Jordan, because he read it immediately and got to third without any problem. Here it is, and you'll see that Lieberthal right there hits a breaking ball off the end of the bat. Kevin Jordan read it immediately and winds up on third base.
First and third, nobody out.
One of the traits the Phillies have shown in the last 6 weeks when they've been winning ball games is their ability to bounce back after the opposition scores some runs.
Here's McMillan. Billy McMillan is 0 for 1. Infield is back. Strike 1 on McMillan. Jordan at third, Lieberthal at first. Back-to-back singles. Phillies with a good chance to get on the board here. High fly ball. That's going to be deep enough to score the run. Hunter's out there making the catch. And Jordan will score on the sacrifice fly by Billy McMillan, and the game is 2-1 Detroit. So Lieberthal's on first with 1 out on the sacrifice fly.
I'd like to send birthday wishes along tonight to Dan Hammer of Media, Pennsylvania. Got a nice letter from his father David from Camp Hill. That's Hanner, I mean, Dan Hanner. He works for Mellon Bank and lives in Media, so Happy birthday to Dan from all of us, and also your dad Dave out there in Camp Hill.
Tony Barron singled his first time up, got the first hit of the ball game. Back one on Tony. Infield at double play depth. One and one to count. Well, Garcia Parra singled in the third inning for the Red Sox to extend his hitting streak to 30 games. Ties him with Sandy Alomar for the longest streak in the majors this year. He looks like he's a good ball player and good fielder too. Ooh, fumbled the ball. Everybody's safe. It looked like a double play ball when it was hit. But Damian Easley booted it.
Yeah, the Tigers have been talking about how improved their defense is this year, and in this case it was a dead double play ball, and you see Easley just got a little anxious, overran it, and gets nobody out of it. Big break for the Phillies.
So first and second, one out for Kevin Stocker. He flied out to center field his first time up. Tigers lead at 2-1. The Phillies have a couple of base runners here with one out in the top of the fifth. Center field right there. Stocker hit it on the nose, but he lines out for the second out of the inning. And the leadoff hitter, Midray Cummings, will bat.
You see, look on Kevin Stocker's face because he knows he nailed that ball right on the nose and right at Brian Hunter.
And he hit it too hard. He should have just about half hit it. It probably would have dropped in. Midray Cummings is 0 for 2, batting at .273. He's really been hitting the ball well.
He's hit one hard tonight. His second time up, he hit it well to left center, and Hunter ran it down.
Two on and two outs for Midray Cummings. Right at Easley, and that'll retire the side. Phillies scored a run on 2 hits and 2 men left on base. Bottom of the fifth, Tigers batting. They lead 2-1. Detroit bats here in the fifth. Bubba Trammell will lead it off, followed by Casanova and Davy Cruz. Tigers lead it 2-1 here in the bottom of the fifth. Phillies have 1 run on 3 hits, no errors. Tigers 2 runs on 2 hits and 1 error. Trammell struck out his first time up. Base hit, left field corner. Bubba Trammell gets a leadoff double on the first pitch.
Well, you can see why they like him. You know, he strikes out a lot, and he's a young player, but that ball just jumped off his bat. They say he's going to hit for power in the big league someday out of the University of Tennessee. And he laces this first ball down the left field line for a double, and it got to the wall in a hurry.
The pitch was right down the middle of the plate. Casanova 0 for 1, grounded out. Strike one on Casanova.
There's a catcher in the big leagues named Paul Casanova at one time, right? Remember him?
And this is Raul.
This is Raul, but no relation. This guy's from Puerto Rico, a switch hitting catcher. Used to be in the San Diego organization. They have 2 catchers who are switch hitters. The other being Matt Walbach. Used to be with the Cubs.
Strike two.
It's kind of a nice luxury on a ball club.
Yeah, you don't have to platoon catchers in. If you can hit, that's a nice luxury.
Yeah. Well, this guy's the everyday catcher, Casanova.
Got him with that breaking ball right on the outside corner. That's a fourth strikeout for Tyler Green.
And Casanova's up there trying to find a pitch to pull, and Tyler Green went away, in, and then away. Backdoor breaking ball there, and a perfect pitch.
Davy Cruz grounded out his first time up. Trammell's on second, one out. Ball one to Cruz. They like this kid. He's a shortstop. He's a very consistent shortstop, they say.
Very young player. Saw him in a game at Jack Russell Stadium this year, and at that point they weren't sure that he was even going to make their ball club.
All two.
Bubba. You name a guy Bubba, he better be big, huh? And he's big. He's a Bubba.
Check swing foul ball.
28 home runs for Bubba Trammell this year and 75 runs batted in at Toledo after they sent him out in May. So they have a lot of hope for him right there. Former University of Tennessee volunteer. Be a pretty good player for them.
Aaron Dalton was a Bubba.
Darren Dalton was a Bubba. A definite Bubba.
Yeah, definite. Yeah.
His teammates called him Bubba.
2-1 the count to Cruz. Time is called. Who called it?
Davy Cruz.
He didn't step out.
No, you could hear him say time, and he did it the right way. He didn't put his hand up. And you could hear him yelling. He said it twice. He went time, and Al Clark gave it to him on the second. We're so close here. You feel like you're in the game almost.
Fouled off left side. 2-2 the count. The old New York Giants in the Polo Grounds, Wheels. We're going to get the fans in on the game. They installed a microphone. When an argument started, the microphone shot out of the ground right by home plate.
Man.
And the only problem with that was that Leo DeRocher was the manager. And the first time he ran out there, that's when you could argue balls and strikes without getting thrown out of the game. First time he ran out there, they had a little Italian umpire by the name of Augie Guglielmo. He called Augie every name Leo could think of, and Leo could think of a lot of them. That was the end of the microphone.
That was the beginning of the 7-second delay in broadcasting. That's Al Clark right there talking to Davy Cruz you saw, and he was telling him, I didn't hear you the first time, because we could hear him go time twice.
2-2 on Cruz. Scotty Rowland makes the play, holding Bubba at second.
You like that, don't you, Bubba?
The second out. Leadoff hitter Brian Hunter has doubled and scored a run. He's 1 for 2 officially.
It was one of the more surprising moves, I think, when they Astros moved Brian Hunter. I mean, they obviously didn't think he was going to fit into their plans, but boy, he looked like a good player for them. 62 stolen bases over here.
And he didn't do that bad at Houston. I don't know why they moved him out of there. Of course, didn't they make that big trade?
Oh, yeah, he was in that huge deal.
Strike one on Hunter.
Randy Smith has made a couple of large deals since he's been over here, involving quite a few players. He was formerly the general manager with San Diego. This guy is just a real good athlete.
And strike two. 0-2 on Hunter.
They also got Todd Jones in that deal, who's the closer now. Doug Brocail was pitching pretty well for them. Brad Ausmus, the #1 pickup for Houston. He's their #1 catcher.
Time called again. Tyler Green trying to get out of this 5th inning. No damage.
Tell you one thing Hunter's done. When he came up with Houston, he had one of those open stances where he faced the pitcher and then he'd go into everything. He's more straight away now, although he does still pull off a little bit. But he's much closer to the plate also. So they've really changed him around.
Ripped inside the first base bag. Another extra base hit and another run.
Look at him run. Whew. He stopped at second. He could have had a triple, I think, if there hadn't been 2 outs. Well, he takes those long strides.
It's his second double. And he's put the Tigers ahead 3-1. Looked like Tyler got a breaking ball up.
Here it is, and it is a breaking ball up, and he goes into it and just hits it right down the first baseline. Guy has long strides.
3-1 Tigers lead. And Hunter a run batted in, his 41st. There's Damian Easley, who has grounded out, walked, and scored a run. Way outside, a ball on Easley. And Tyler Green made a bad pitch with 2 strikes on Hunter. That ball just kind of sat up there waiting to be hit. Ball and a strike on Easley.
Yeah, there's a difference. I mean, there's a pitch he really got down on the way from the right-handed batter, and he couldn't handle it.
Missed inside. 2-1 the count. First of 3 games here. Foul back. Two and 2 on Easley. Full count. Brian Hunter has hurt the Phillies in this game. A couple of doubles. He scored a run, knocked in one. Ooh, brother. What was that? Walked him. Fan Appreciation Day is coming up Sunday, September 28th, last day of the season. A 1:35 start against the Marlins. Phils close out the season against the Marlins, and they want to say thanks to all their fans. There's plenty of prizes and surprises on hand, so make plans to come out for the final game of '97. Order tickets easily by phone. Call 463-1000 or order tickets online at Phillies.com. 2 on, Hunter and Easley. 2 outs for Higginson, who has knocked in a run on a sacrifice fly. Bobby Higginson. Fouls it off on the left side. Tyler Green has 2 walks, both of them to Easley. Strike one on Bobby Higginson, hitting just under the 300 mark. About right on the 300 mark. Green steps off the rubber. Phillies do not get many major league ball players. This was one that they didn't get. 2-1 the count.
You mean from the area?
Yeah, from the area, yeah. Had some good ones in the past. Dal Ennis, local player out of Alney High. L. Spangler. Morandini hard to his right, makes the play over the first. That'll retire the side. 1 run, 2 hits, 2 men left on base. After 5 innings, Detroit leads at 3-1.
It's really well. You see what Tyler Green's line is. He struck out 4, walked 2. One of the walks hurt him a little bit. Willie Blair, on the other hand, Phillies were making a lot of contact against him, but just have 3 hits so far and the 1 run on a sacrifice fly. Blair has not hurt himself with any walks. Here's that double by Brian Hunter into the corner. Now, I mentioned watch him run. Watch this. You want to see a guy with some strides. Look at this guy run. Right there, he could have gone into third. I mean, no problem. But with 2 outs, they decided to hold him at second. But that's a real athlete right there.
Mickey Morandini leads it off. Mickey's 0 for 2. Hitting at 299. Well, Hunter will take that in stride. Ball hit pretty well, but deep to Hunter in center field. 1 down.
It's Death Valley out there, 440 feet to dead center.
The final games of the season at the Vet bring the National League East teams to town. The best teams, the 2 best, Braves September 23rd through the 25th, followed by the Marlins September 26th and 28th. Exciting baseball to close out the season. Make plans to be on hand. Order tickets easily by phone. Call 463-1000 or stop by the Center City ticket office at Mellon PSFS, Broad and Chestnut Streets. Scotty Rowland.
The reason these old parks have those deep center fields like Connie Mack was 447 was because they played football there. And they laid out the football field from home plate where we are looking right behind straight out there to center field. And that's why you have that real deep center field in this ballpark.
Ball and a strike to Rowland.
Used to play all those great Thanksgiving Day games here with the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. Alec Karras, Bart Starr, and all of them. That's when this was called, I think, Briggs Stadium in those days.
That Thanksgiving Day game they always played here.
Sure. There's the camera out in center field. That gives you some idea. I mean, you need a center fielder in this ballpark who can go get them because there's a lot of room out there.
Rowland walks with 1 out. Willie Blair's first walk. Rico Brogna will bat. He is flied out to left, popped out to third. He's 0 for 2. This should be a good hitting park for Rico Brogna.
Oh, for a left-handed pull hitter, you almost pay to play here. It's so short. It's only 325 down the line, and the upper deck overhangs the field. So there it's 325. Hit a home run down there. You have to hit about 315 feet probably. See how the upper deck hangs over.
Reggie Jackson hit one up on those light standers on the roof.
Yeah, the second transformer over.
I mean, that really had a tape measure job.
In the All-Star game.
Ball one to Bronya.
Cecil Fielder used to hit him on the roof and over here in left field.
There goes Rowland. Stolen base, Scotty Rowland. That's his 13th.
Got a great jump too, and he picked an off-speed pitch to run on. Casanova's throw sails. There you see Casanova throwing, and he made a strong throw, but watch, the shortstop Davy Cruz has to reach and then come back, and that's why Rowland beats the play.
Good throw, and that would have been a close play.
Good throw, yeah, he probably would have been out if it were right on the bag. But Scott Rowland will surprise you with the quickness that he has for such a big man.
Ball two on Bronya.
That's a lot of stolen bases for a guy as big as Scott Rowland.
Line drive, base hit, extra bases for Bronya. Rowland will score easily. Bronya's headed for second with a stand-up double. And the Tigers lead now, cut to 3-2.
And that's to be a real kick for Rico. Come back here, the team that drafted him and then traded him, and he gets a hit in Tiger Stadium. He played here briefly 1 year in the month of August and September. Really didn't get a whole lot of at-bats. Then wound up being moved over to the Mets, and there he hooks that breaking ball right down the line. The stolen base by Rowland gets him a run.
And Bronya represents a tying run if the Phillies can get him home. Kevin Jordan is 1 for 2 with a single. Scored one of the Phillies' runs. Kevin's been a hot hitter, filling in for Rowland when Rowland was out of the lineup. Strike one on Kevin Jordan.
Tigers have the bullpen out. First time their team has had any bullpen activity. That's Dan Maselli, who we used to see pitch for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Rowland with a good lead off second.
That's Bronya.
Or Bronya, excuse me. Rowland's already scored. Bronya has stolen 8 bases, and he's kind of stolen most of them second half of the season.
Kind of sneaks up on people with his stolen bases. You don't look for him to steal third.
Foul ball into the crowd. Casanova was over there to try to run it down. 0-2 to Kevin Jordan. (3-2) Tiger lead. Top of the 6th. Takes low. 1-2 the count. Well, this park has some history to it.
I guess. Ty Cobb. That's a lot of history.
Charlie Gehringer, Hank Greenberg,
Al Kaline.
Yeah.
Great World Series with the Cardinals back in the 80s. I mean in the 60s, and then the World Series here in the 80s. There are some of the retired numbers up there.
Mickey Cochran is one of those Hall of Famers. Ty Cobb doesn't have a number up there.
I was saying, what's Ty Cobb's number? Frank DiVincentis, our director, told us he didn't wear one. He didn't have a number.
Chased a low inside pitch, struck him out. Second strikeout for Willie Blair.
There's the great Al Kaline right there, one of the broadcasters here for the Detroit Tigers, and what an unbelievable career he had. Great outfielder, tremendous thrower.
Yeah, he won a batting title in 1955. Al Kaline. I know that he tried out in Connie Mack Stadium when he was a kid out of Baltimore. Here's Lieberthal. Strike one on Mike Lieberthal. He was a skinny kid. And I thought I don't think they thought he was ever be big and strong enough to play Major League ball. Well,
not a bad career for the great Al Kaline.
Check swing. No, I guess he called it.
First base umpire Eric Cooper
said he didn't check.
Right.
0-2 on Lieberthal.
Here's a look at it. Decide for yourself.
Pretty weak call, Eric. One and two the count on Lieberthal.
Willie Blair throwing Lieberthal a lot of sliders down and away, trying to get him to fish.
Lieberthal has a hit. He's 1 for 2 with a single.
He hit a breaking ball off the end of the bat his last time up.
High fly ball, center field. Brian Hunter hardly has to move. That'll take care of the inning. Phillies 1 run, 1 hit, 1 left on. Tigers bat in the 6th.
And is grounded out. Hit a sacrifice fly and grounded out. That's a foul back. And out of play about 3 rows back. The ball's and a strike to Bobby Higginson. Tigers have them loaded. 1 out. Detroit leading 3-2. Third ball very high. 1 ball and 1 strike to Higginson. Tigers lead it by a run here in the 7th, trying to get more. In the dirt. 2 balls and a strike. At third base is Raul Casanova. Davy Cruz at second. Damian easily at first. With 1 out. Missed inside with a breaking ball. 3 balls and a strike to Bobby Higginson.
The thing about bringing him in with the bases loaded is he doesn't have any margin for error, and he got ahead of him with strike 1 and now missed with breaking pitches. And Bobby Higginson's gotten himself into a situation where he'd probably get a fastball to hit.
They'll look for a fastball. Ball loose in the bullpen. Time is called.
I mean, this is a great spot for a hitter.
Pitch walked into force and a run. Casanova scores. Cruz to third. Easily to second. It's now a 4-2 Detroit lead. And it'll bring up Tony Clark. Clark, the switch hitter, batting .253 right-handed. Change up over to Clark for a called strike. 0-1. Just a curveball that bounced up there. No balls and 2 strikes to Tony Clark.
He'll probably be Carp's last batter if he can get Tony Clark out. Then you have Travis Fryman, a right-handed batter on deck, with Spradlin ready to come in here. He's starting with a changeup, then throws a good breaking ball. And Clark has a little different swing from the right side, as many switch hitters do. That's why they wanted to turn him around and take their chances.
Fastball called out on strikes as Clark for out number 2 in the inning. Here comes Terry Francona. This will be it for Carp. Fastball on the outside corner. And he'll call on Jerry Spradlin to try to get out Travis Fryman with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Well, this is it for Carp. Spradlin comes on. Pitching change for the Phils, 4-2 Detroit. Back after these messages. Jerry Spradlin is among the National League leaders in games. This is his 65th game, his 4th in a row. He's won 2, lost 6, a 4.78 ERA. Spradlin 69 hits in 69 2/3 innings, 55 strikeouts and 25 walks. And he'll try to get out Travis Fryman here with the bases loaded, 2 outs, a run across, and the Tigers leading at 4-2. Fryman is grounded out on a fine play by Scott Rowland, singled to drive in a run and grounded out. Bottom of the 7th, Detroit leading by a score of 4-2. One strike to Travis Fryman. Missed a little bit wide, 1-1. With it, 2 balls and a strike. Fouls it out of play into the upper deck. Davey Cruz at third base. At second base is Damian Easley. Bobby Higginson at first with 2 outs. A run across here in the 7th. Tigers lead it by a score of 4-2. This wide, it's full count. Runners will be on the move now with 2 outs. Hit another run. 2 bases loaded walks in this inning. 1 issued by Carp, 1 now by Spradlin. And the Tigers now lead at 5-2. Bases still loaded for Bob Hamlin.
See Terry Francona and Chuck Cotty are there in the dugout, and I mean that's as helpless a feeling as you can get as a manager. I think you push the right buttons and the pitchers come in and walk runners in.
So it's now 5-2 Detroit. Here's Hamlin, who has struck out, fouled out, and singled. Missed inside, 1-0 to Hamlin. Inside corner, 1-1 to Bob Hamlin. Tigers leading 5-2. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Missed with a slider. 2 balls and a strike. Ball 3. Three and 1 to Hamlin. Towering fly to left. It's deep, but it'll stay in the park. McMillan puts it away, and that will retire the side. But Detroit puts 2 on the board. They do it with just 2 hits along with 3 walks. No Philly errors. 3 men left. We go to the 8th inning. It's 5-2 Tigers. Ron Blazer comes on to pitch the bottom of the 8th for the Phils. This will be his 30th game. He's won 1, lost 1, a 5.60 ERA. 45 innings. He has 29 strikeouts, 21 walks. So Blazer comes in for the Phillies here in the 8th with the Tigers leading at 5-2, and Bubba Trammell will be the first one to face Blazer. Trammell has struck out, doubled and scored a run, and struck out. Had 28 homers at Toledo. He is a power hitter. 11th round pick in the 94 draft out of the University of Tennessee. 1-0 to Trammell. Todd Jones, the closer for Detroit, gets up in their bullpen now. Slider on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. There's slider. Trammell thinks those are outside. He's in the hole now. A ball and 2 strikes. And there's Todd Jones. Inside, missed inside with a splitter. 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes to Bubba Trammell. Full count to him. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Detroit on top 5-2. High towering drive to left, but it'll stay in the park. McMillan makes the catch. Trammell's retired, 1 down. That'll bring up Raul Casanova.
Bubba Trammell took a rip at this and broke the bat in half. Watch what happens here. See it break right down near the handle. A weird place for a bat to break. And I think it really surprised him because on his follow-through was when the bat broke. Look at him looking at the little bit of the handle left. And, of course, the ball didn't go very far after that.
1 strike to Raul Casanova. High 1-1. Matt Beach will pitch tomorrow night's game against Scott Sanders. On Sunday, Mark Leiter and Justin Thompson, the left-hander. Thompson's put together some real good numbers, an ERA under 3.
Thompson's a guy that struck out Griffey all those times in a row. What was it, 5 or 6 times in a row he struck him out, which is pretty amazing. Has nasty stuff, real good breaking ball.
1-2 to Raul Casanova. Fly ball center field. Midray Cummings right there. Casanova's retired. That's 2 down. And checking the Toyota Major League scoreboard. Interleague play, Cleveland leading the Cubs 3-2. That's in the 7th. John Smoltz shutting out Boston 6-0 in the 7th. Dave Malicki shutting out Baltimore 3-0 in the 6th. Montreal behind Carlos Perez leads the Yankees 3-1. St. Louis 2-0 over Kansas City. Florida behind Al Leiter 3-0 over Toronto, his ex-team, in the 6th. Leiter just off the disabled list. Houston leads the Chicago White Sox 2-0 in the 4th. Low-scoring games in interleague play, surprisingly. Pittsburgh and Milwaukee 0-0 in the 4th inning. Cincinnati leading Minnesota 3-2. That's in the 5th. Fred Tomko for the Reds. And the West Coast games just underway. Game at Coors Field won't be low scoring, I bet you.
No, that shouldn't be.
Seattle and Colorado.
Oh, man, some of those Seattle players getting a chance to hit in that place.
You see the ball that the Big Cat hit last night?
No.
Longest in Coors Field history.
Where'd he get up? One of those
487 feet to center.
Oh, to center. Yeah. I thought he put up one of those refreshment stands. Well, he hit the longest in Florida this year, too. That one in the upper deck.
Stadium.
McGuire almost got one there the other night.
Ooh, off blazer that carries into foul ground. That'll be a hit for Davy Cruz.
They can hit him on the leg, and he appears to be all right. I mean, there'll be concern. Here comes Jeff Cooper and Terry Francona want to make sure, but it looked like it hit him up high on one of his legs. Yeah, above the knee. On the right leg. See it again. Yeah, hopefully that hit above his knee.
Ron Blazer hit by a batted ball. We'll see if he'll be able to continue here in the 8th inning.
Phillies are short a pitcher because of Reggie Harris being on a 4-game suspension that will last through Monday. So they certainly can't afford to lose somebody, especially when you're playing with the DH all weekend. There it is again, right off his leg.
Blazer says he's okay. He'll stay in there, and Brian Hunter will be the batter. Hunter's 2 for 4. He has grounded out, twice doubled, and struck out. Cruz at first with 2 outs. A ball and no strikes to Hunter. Goes, and he serves a hit into right field. Cruz will end up at third. Brian Hunter gets his 3rd hit of the ball game. Tigers have runners at first and third with 2 outs for Damian Easley. Easley has grounded out and walked 3 times.
Split finger fastball down and away from Brian Hunter, and he just takes it the other way into right field. So Hunter has pulled a ball tonight and hit 2 balls the other way.
Now the Detroit runners are at first and third with 2 outs for Damian Easley. The old fake to third. No throw to first.
Doing the Motown wave here now at Tiger Stadium.
Yep. Hunter goes. No prayer for Lieberthal. Stolen base number 63 for Brian Hunter.
Brian Hunter figures 2 things here. One is it's going to be an off-speed pitch he can run on. The other that the Phillies with 2 outs aren't even going to throw down there. So he felt pretty confident in taking off.
1 ball and no strikes to Damian Easley. A high foul out of play. 1-1. Detroit runners second and third. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Missing with a slider. 2 balls and a strike to Easley. High 3-1. Bobby Higginson waiting on deck. And want to walk this right-hand hitter with Higginson due up next.
Right, because the Phillies have used up their 1 left-handed pitcher, Ryan Park.
Base hit center field. 2 runs will score. And the Tigers now lead it 7-2 here in the 8th inning. Damian Easley chases in a pair. And it'll bring up Bobby Higginson.
Well, as Harry said, you don't want to walk him here because you don't want to get the bases loaded, but he left the pitch right out over the plate to Damian Easley. Pretty good looking player. That's the first hit for him tonight after 3 walks.
No longer a save situation, so Todd Jones is down and Dan Maselli is up in Detroit's bullpen. One strike to Higginson. He is 0 for 2, but he has knocked in 2 runs with a sac fly and a bases loaded walk. No balls and 2 strikes to Higginson.
I think Higginson liked that. It was a splitter that he probably thought was a little bit high. You can see him having a little conversation with Al Clark.
Chased the low splitter, struck him out. That will retire the side, but Detroit adds 2 more in the inning. They do it with 3 hits. No Philly errors. 1 man left. We go to the 9th. 7-2 Tigers. Coming in now for Buddy Bell, not a save situation, so Todd Jones sat down. Maselli is appearing in his 58th game. He's won 3, lost 2, saved 1, a 5.56 ERA. 68 innings he's pitched, 69 hits and 42 earned runs. He has struck out 65 while walking 32. And he'll face Rico Brogna to lead it off for the Phils here in the 9th inning with the Tigers up by 5. Brogna's flied out, popped up, and doubled. Willie Blair, 8 strong innings for Detroit, giving up just 2 runs on 4 hits. Struck out 4 and walked 1. 1 ball and no strikes to Rico Brogna. Blair well on his way to his 14th win. 1-1 to Rico Brogna. Ball over for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Struck him out. Brogna goes down swinging. 1 down. That'll bring up Kevin Jordan. Jordan has extended his hitting streak. He has singled in 3 at-bats and scored 1 of the 2 Philly runs. Wide for a ball, 1-0. Ball went over, 1-1 to Kevin Jordan. Checked on a low pitch. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Stan Maselli, when he was with Pittsburgh for a while, used to be a really hard thrower, and he still looks like he gets it up there pretty well. And he has that changeup he threw to strike Brogna, looking like it was a split finger. It really went down hard and away from him. Maselli originally was with Kansas City. He came over to Pittsburgh in that Stan Belinda deal.
Fouls it into the upper deck. They got him from Pittsburgh in November of last year for Clint Sadowski,
who has pitched off and on for the Pirates. In fact, the guy they just sent out a couple of weeks ago.
Jordan called out on strikes. 2 straight strikeouts for Maselli. And it'll bring up Mike Lieberthal. He is grounded sharply to second, singled, and flied out to center.
There is a fastball. I mean, that's close. 2 strikes. He may have thought it was a little bit outside. I don't know.
Mile high pop up, and this should be the ball game. Davey Cruz, the shortstop, waits and puts it away, and this one is over. A 1-2-3 inning for Dan Maselli here in the 9th. No runs, hits, errors, and none left. Detroit wins by a score of 7-2 here at Tiger Stadium, and the Phillies' interleague frustrations continue. The Phillies drop their 9th straight in interleague play as the Tigers win it by a score of 7-2. Willie Blair will get the win, and the loss will go to Tyler Green. 7-2 final Tigers. We'll be back with more from Tiger Stadium in a moment.